guys, it's Alicia and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a reading vlog, except I'm going to be doing it differently than what I would usually do for my reading vlogs. All of my reading vlogs, I read 2 or more books, but this one is going to be focused on just one book, and that book is going to be Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This isn't the type of book that I would normally pick up because I'm not a huge fan, or I don't gravitate a lot towards historical fiction, which this one is. But I'm excited to get to it because of all the amazing things that I've heard about this. And there's a romance subplot in here, which I've been enjoying romance a lot. I've been getting into it a lot more this year, and I'm just excited to keep reading more of it. All I know about this book is that we are following 2 rival journalists that communicate through a magical typewriter while there's a war going on between gods. And that's all I really know, not a whole lot. But I've seen so many quotes from this book all over the internet, specifically on my Bookstagram account, and I'm just really excited to get into this. I haven't decided yet if I want this video to be spoiler-free or not. I just feel like making spoiler-free reading vlogs are always tricky because you never know if you're going to say too much, but you want to say enough to get the point across, and sometimes you're left being super vague trying to explain your reasoning or feeling for something that happened in the book. So yeah, I'm not super sure on how this is gonna go. I'll put it on the screen if there's gonna be spoilers. So now that that whole spoiler warning is out of the way, let's get this vlog started. Hey guys, it's only been an hour, and it's around 5:30 right now, and I forgot that because of daylight savings time that the sun goes down way earlier than I remembered. So I'm going to do a quick little update while I'm down here and it's somewhat bright out still, and then I'll do another update before I go to bed. But this also kind of worked out because there's already a lot that I want to talk about. I already got to page 55, and I'm actually enjoying this book a lot more than I thought I was going to. I'm not really sure how I would describe Rebecca Ross's writing style, but it's very different from a lot of books that I've been reading recently, and I mean that in a good way because I'm really enjoying the writing. It's just different in the best way. So we have our 2 main characters, Iris and Rowan, which it seems like our main character right now is Iris because we're getting a lot more time with her, but we also started getting some parts of the book in Rowan's point of view. So as of right now, it's dual POV, which I'm always a big fan of, and I like being able to get the same story from different perspectives. I'm really enjoying it. The book starts off with Iris saying goodbye to her brother who's going off to war, the war that I talked about in the beginning of this video. And I found out that it's between a god named 𝒂𝒂𝒕𝒄𝒉, I think is how you pronounce it, and he is like the god of the underlings, and then a goddess is who he's fighting named 𝑻𝒊𝒎𝒔𝒕𝒄𝒉, and she's the goddess of the skywards. So I'm sure more of the history of those 2 will get revealed more as the book goes on, but we've gotten a little bit more background on the war itself. It's been 5 months since her brother's gone to war and she hasn't really heard much, and Iris had started writing letters to her brother but like slipping them into her wardrobe, which is something that her and her nan used to do when she was younger, and all of a sudden these letters are disappearing. And I know in the beginning of this video I said that they were communicating through a magical typewriter, and now I'm like wondering if that actually is the case or if I just like came up with that, but I really thought that I've heard people mention that in videos before, so I don't know if that's true or not, because these letters for some reason are disappearing into Rowan's room, and Rowan knows that it's Iris, but she doesn't know it's Rowan, and I just feel like this isn't going to get revealed in the best way because they are rivals in the workplace. They both work at, I think it's called Oath Gazette, and they're both trying to get promoted, and they're trying to get promoted for the same thing. So yeah, they're rivaling each other, and when people describe the romance in this book, they use the rivals to lovers trope, so I already know that those are the 2 that are going to end up getting together. I'm excited to see how this relationship unfolds though, because I'm enjoying their banter and how they interact with each other, so I'm excited to see how that's going to progress. I could have sworn people mentioned a magical typewriter. So, yeah, I don't know if that actually is the case. Like, if Iris's Nan's typewriter is the reason why it's being connected, but I don't understand why it would choose to go to Rowan. That's where I am right now. Like I said, I am really enjoying it. I'm just very intrigued to learn more about the war that's going on and how this relationship is going to progress. I just remembered one more thing. There's rival newspapers in town. Obviously, there's going to be a rival newspaper, and they're looking for people to actually go into the war, and they're going to pay them like a pretty good sum of money to do that, as long as they write their papers in an unbiased fashion. And I feel like Iris might try and do it because in the beginning she was talking about how she would have liked to go to war with her brother too, so she wouldn't be left behind with her mom. And I definitely think that that's something that might happen because I also know that this book makes people cry. And nothing that I've learned so far seems like it would make me cry besides if something happens to her brother. But yeah, I feel like she might end up actually going into the middle of war to try and write about it. But also something just came up with Rowan, so he might do it too. They might both do it. I have no idea, but I feel like one of them is definitely going to take up that offer and take the chances of losing their job and their promotion because it's with a rival company. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to take a little break. I have to go do something with my gram real quick, but I will definitely read more tonight before I go to bed and give you guys another update. So I will talk to you guys in the next update. Alright guys, it's actually way later in the night. The stuff that I had to do with my gram took way longer than I thought it was going to, and then I just kept getting distracted. But I read to page 118, which is just a little ways into part 2 of this book, and I'm really enjoying this book, you guys. This had me tear up already, like, twice, and I just wasn't expecting to. Well, I expected to get emotional at some point in this book, considering that a war is going on, and I figured I would get attached to characters, but from what you could see in my, like, B-roll, some stuff happened, and I just was not expecting that. I'm caring about these characters way more sooner than I thought I was going to, but that just means that it's written very well. I really love the communication that's going on between these two characters. I really didn't think anything was going to happen to Iris's mom. I was very shocked by that. As soon as I saw that letter come in at her workplace, I just had a very bad feeling, but I still was shocked for it to be confirmed that that was her mother. And then learning that little bit of information about Rowan's past and how his family treats him about that still to this day, when he was still a child pretty much, is just so sad and ridiculous to me. And I just don't like arranged marriages as well. To get on that topic, that's not something I usually get behind, and I can't imagine handling that in real life, that was something that people had to go through, and especially when it's for like a means to an end for your parents, and then just the amount of feeling used by your parents would be like insane to me. And I know these are fictional characters, but this stuff did happen. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really enjoying this book. It definitely is emotional, and there's so many good quotes that I've seen in here. I took note of a few. I just am trying to get more into annotating, it physically hurts me to write in a book. It hurts me to mark up a page, but I love seeing other people's annotations, especially when they're really cute with doodles and aesthetics. But yeah, for some reason it just really hurts me to write in a good book, even more so for a hardcover, and I think it's just because I spent more than I normally would on a book when I get a hardcover. And usually when I do annotate, it is just for quotes that I really enjoy. I don't do like a whole color-coded system like this color's for the theme, this color's for characterization for specific characters, and all of that stuff. But I'm really tempted to do it, but it hurts me thinking about it, so we'll see if that ends up happening. Like I said, I took note of a few that I liked, or like moments that I enjoyed. And I liked the little moment that Iris and Rowan shared when they went to lunch together. I thought that was really cute, and that was like the first really interaction they spent together, and I enjoyed seeing that. And for a second, I thought that it wasn't the typewriters, but I found out that it was, and Iris owns one of three very rare typewriters, so I'm assuming that Rowan owns the second one, and the other one is in a museum somewhere, which is interesting. So I hope we learn a little bit more about that. We got some more information on the mythology of the god and goddess that's going on. I'm sure we'll find out more about that. And I was correct with her going to the war. I'm not sure if Rowan's following her or what he exactly plans to do, but I'm intrigued to see how this is going to keep going. I feel like I say that a lot, but I am. I don't know if I'm going to read much more tonight, but I'm going to wait a while to update you guys again until I read probably about another 100 or so pages. So I will talk to you guys again tomorrow in my next update. Hey guys, it's the next day and I just read to page 243, so I have just over 100 pages left. I'm like 2/3 of the way through the book and a lot has happened since we last talked, but I'm still really enjoying this. So I'm going to summarize my thoughts and what I was thinking for the last chunk that I read. When Iris arrived to that town to stay there when she went to go write in the army and be in the front lines, we also met a character named Addie, and I really like her, and I like the lady that they were staying with. I don't know why I can't think of her name. It started with an M. It was Marisol was her name. I know it was like a more unique name because I've never heard of that name before. But I really like Marisol too, and we get to know a little bit more about her. And she's teaching Iris and Addie the rules for the town, and there's 3 different sirens that get sounded. Instantly, I knew that that was going to end up happening because how is it not going to happen? But even knowing that that was definitely going to happen, it still made me really stressed and anxious reading about them experiencing that. And then we're flashing to Rowan, and I absolutely love his Nan. Such a sweet woman, and I love when a character is struggling to live their own life and they're living it for other people, because that's exactly what's going on with Rowan. And he just really needed someone, especially like an authority figure, to just give him that push to leave and put his foot down. And his Nan did that for him, which that whole interaction and conversation was very sweet. And he just really needed that. And then he wrote Iris that he was going somewhere, and I instantly knew that he was going to the war. What I wasn't expecting was that he was going to be going to the exact same spot that she is, and one of those sirens ended up going off, and she saw him in the street, which I don't want to get into like all the specifics of the rules. If you read the book, you obviously know what scene I'm talking about. I really thought we were about to lose Roman for a second. And I've also just noticed while I was editing my clips from yesterday, and I probably just said it a second ago, that I keep saying Rowan instead of Roman. And I don't know why I keep saying Rowan instead of Roman. I'm not really sure why that name's sticking in my head. I don't know what's going on with my brain, but his name's Roman. And I'm aware that I'm saying the wrong name sometimes, so you guys just gotta bear with me. I do pay attention while I'm reading. And I really thought we were gonna lose him for a second. I was so concerned, but I was also shocked at Iris's initial reaction was to go run out there and like tackle him to the ground and get him down. Even though she's always complaining about him, she's also always thinking that he's attractive, which I really like seeing her finally come to terms that she has feelings for him, because she's kind of just buried it and put it as like a superficial thing. But now that they've been spending time together, because they have to stay in this place together, and they both went to the front lines and were in the trenches writing things, interacting with these soldiers, like they've really grown together more and gotten to know each other more. And oh my gosh, you guys, where I'm at right now, explosions were going off, and Roman's first instinct was to cover Iris so she wouldn't get hurt. Like, are you kidding? I love that. And then he ends up getting injured, and she has this whole like moment realizing how much she cares for this boy. And it also just sucks because he technically wrote a letter to her confessing that it's him, and she hasn't read it yet. And he's just trying to make sure that she reads this letter, and she's like, I don't care about what's in your bag. Like, we need to get help. So I'm just waiting for this to get revealed. Since she's come to realize that she has feelings for Rowan, I don't think that it's going to go over badly like I originally thought, because they've grown a lot more and developed more feelings for each other. So I feel like she's going to be less annoyed about figuring out that it was him this whole time. And there's one more thing that I want to mention. The whole situation of Iris talking to these soldiers, she's more so like spending quality time with them and really getting to know them as human beings instead of just asking all these interview questions for her article and her paper. And she's taken her time to ask them if they want her to write letters to their families, which I think is just so incredibly sweet and really showcases who she is as a character and what she values and everything like that. And I really, really love Iris, and it's so incredibly sweet of her to do that. And I just wanted to mention that because I just feel like that speaks volumes on her character. And Rowan is like that too, but there's this whole thing in the beginning when she's saying that he's not asking the right kind of questions to convey emotion in his articles, and he really took that to heart. And you can see him doing that more as well. But yeah, I love both of them so much. So yeah, a lot's happened, but like I said, I'm really enjoying my time with this. I want to read more because it's only around 4 right now, but I am going to my boyfriend's later, so I don't know if I'll finish this before I get there, if I'm going to be able to do my update here or when I get there. But either way, I do want to finish this tonight. I will talk to you guys again in my last update. Alright guys, I just finished Divine Rivals, and I can't even think of a single complaint for this book, which is saying a lot because I feel like I'm very picky with my ratings, and I'm going to go back on some logic that I had for another reading vlog, because I read Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and I gave it a 4-star simply because I said I didn't get that 4.5 or 5-star feeling for the book, and that was the only reason why, even though I had no complaints. And looking back, I think that was very stupid on my part, because I'm going to go completely against that reasoning for this book. I feel like sometimes 5 stars can just creep up on you, and you just know at the end, and you don't have to have that feeling for majority of the book. And this is a new mindset that I'm going to have. And I'm also going to change my rating for Once Upon a Broken Heart now because of this. And I just feel weird giving books now anything less than a 5-star if I don't have a single complaint for it, because literally, what's the reasoning, girl? Like, the logic wasn't there. But yes, I have no complaints for this book. I loved the characters in here. I feel like the writing was beautiful. I loved the love story between Roman and Iris. It was so beautiful and heartbreaking, and the way that this ended, guys, you guys, I did not see that coming. Her brother being that person that was taking things out of Marisol's house. For some reason, that never crossed my mind. I don't know why. And even knowing that he didn't really have a choice to switch sides, I still don't think we can trust him because, like, how far do those connections go now when something like that happens? So I don't know if he could potentially be, like, controlled by Docker, I think is how you say the god's name, or not. I just don't really trust him at all. And I feel like it was a very smart decision for how Rebecca Ross wrote that epilogue and having it from Docker's perspective, because what a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger. And actually, as soon as I finished this book, I immediately looked up how many books are supposed to be in this series, and everyone's just saying two. If there's supposed to be more than one book, then I don't want to get the second book, because then I'm going to have to wait super long to read the next one. But if it is just supposed to be two books, I will be reading the second one as soon as I can, because I just want to know what happens immediately. I feel like this was such a good build up for the second book, but it felt perfect still. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. I'm reading the Game of Thrones series right now, and book 2 I gave a 4-star because even though I did enjoy it, it just was lacking in some parts, but it absolutely built up book 3 perfectly, I feel like. And it did that, but it still had all of the parts there, if that makes sense. I was not expecting to give this book a 5-star rating. Again, this isn't the type of book I would normally gravitate towards, but this was such a pleasant surprise for me. And I definitely recommend this if you haven't read it. That's going to be it for this reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of reading vlog. Again, I know most people will probably enjoy a spoiler-free reading vlog, but I feel like I can really talk about everything this way if I just make it spoilers. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. I feel like it was a little all over the place because I'm not used to filming during so many parts in a book. Like, I was doing it every like 50 or so pages, and then I just went back to how I normally would and read 100 pages and then talked, which I feel like it made me forget everything that I wanted to talk about. And I feel like I had to summarize a lot of what happened for you guys to understand where I was in the book. Bear with me, guys. This is a new type of video that I'm going to do, and hopefully they won't be as crazy. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. I have my more recent YouTube videos linked in the description, as well as my social media if you're interested in following me on any of those. I have a Bookstagram and a BookTok account. I hope you're having a good day whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!